What is up, everyone? It is so good to be with you finally. What a crazy year it's been. But meanwhile, welcome to Handy Schlapped. I am your host, Jordan Schrader, and today I'm just going to give you a quick update on what's going on in my life with a disability and becoming a new business owner and just what's going on with the podcast. So here we go. Just what's been going on. I recently gave my TEDx talk, my very first one. It's all done and going to be uploaded very soon. So looking forward to that, and I will share all of that with you as well. This TEDx talk was recorded back in November at the Grand Theater in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And the topic I discussed was, are the disabled supposed to be better than the rest of us? You know, oftentimes us with disabilities are looked at as innocent, angelic people that don't have normal everyday problems. Instead, we just have medical problems. You look at us and you think, oh, wow, that person is nothing but doctor appointments, or their whole life is nothing but death scares and medicine and treatments. And oh no, how sad. That's awful. Well, I get that. I sympathize and empathize as well with that. But, like, come on. Just because we're sitting down, if you're a wheelchair user, that is, or harder yet, if you live with an invisible disability, that's even more difficult. You know, people don't even know. And it's beyond that. It goes beyond disability, is the point I was trying to make. And what people will see in the TED Talk is that this goes beyond disability. This goes for everybody. You know, we think we know people, but we really don't. We look at people and we like to make up stories about them, myself included. I'm very guilty of this. In college and still on to this day, I like to kind of just sit in a public venue and people watch. I mean, who doesn't like to do that? But really, though, we kind of go a little much with that and try to make up our own ideas of how people live their lives so that we can maybe feel more comfortable about our own living situations. Or we're just bored. I mean, that's kind of it. We're mostly bored and we like to idle, and we like to use that to think we know people and talk about people behind their backs and make up our own interpretations of people. And that goes for everybody. And that's kind of the gist of it. I don't want to spoil too much of the TEDx talk itself. Quick side note, please excuse the audio quality of today's episode. I am recording on my iPhone today out of convenience and where I'm at right now. So, yes, end of side note. Anyway, yeah, the TEDx talk was great. I never thought I would get it. I auditioned back in April of this year. And I think the point of all this I'm trying to say is that sometimes when you live with a disability, it's hard to share your voice. It's often hard to express yourself when you live with a disability, whether it's a visible disability or an invisible disability, because there's just so much noise around us, literal ambient noise, and I recently went to a nightclub with a buddy of mine just to kind of hang out and do some dancing on a weekend. And there's pros and cons to that. Pro is that you don't need to talk to people necessarily. You can just go and be in the middle of the crowd, if you so please, and just dance around and not have a care in the world. The con of that is that you can't talk to people, really, especially people with muscular dystrophy that have respiratory issues. You can't exactly talk to anyone because the music is so loud that we don't have the ability to project our voice over the music, if anyone can, really. The decibel level is really high in those kind of places, and that goes for a lot of bars, actually, which is weird. I like going to the bars and meeting people, but it's hard if it's a really loud place. We have to be very selective. Like, oh, is it more of a tavern like place? Is it a place that's a little more quiet? So sometimes it gets a little tricky picking out where we want to go for what sociologists like to call, at least in recent memory, called the third place, where it's not work, it's not home, but it's a place where you can just go out and meet people. Let's say, like, going to the mall, like back in the day, or going to a town square, and just being around people recreationally, and just meeting. I love to do that, but depending on where you live, like I live in Wisconsin, where it's very cold most part of the year, and the best places typically around here are going to be, of course, inside places, whether it be like a club for dancing, or a bar, or a tavern, or a wine bar. It depends, really. Or, I mean, a lot of us can't get involved in a sports league. So, beggars can't be choosers. So, it's good to just savor and be grateful wherever you're able to go out and meet people. It's just a wonderful thing. And going on to other news right now here on the Handy Schlaft show, I am finally getting really close to launching my own business. And because of the TED Talk and just other areas where you come to that point in your life where you look at, okay, what can I do? Instead of focusing on what you can't do and being upset or miserable about it, which I did for so many years, and a lot of us have done. Everyone's human. Of course, we're all guilty of it. But focusing on what can I do, I decided, I am going to use my literal voice to make a living. So I don't have a particular launch date yet, but very soon I will be launching Jordan River of Life Coaching and Speaking, where I will be doing professional speaking wherever I get booked. And I will also be offering services for one-on-one life coaching. And the website isn't up yet, but it will be at jordanschroeder.com. That's JORDANSCHROET as in tiger, ER.com. And I'm so excited to be doing something different, to be exploring all the different avenues I went through throughout my 20s to figure out what the heck do I want to do. And I think this speaks for all disabled people who are listening to this right now. Or maybe it's just you. You don't have to have a disability to relate to this, but you just have to find what you like to do. I sound very cliche, I know, but it's so true. You have to find what you like to do, what are you good at, and find a way to excel at it. I looked at my problems for so many years looking at, oh no, I can't play sports, or I can't do this because I can't walk, or because I'm unable to move my arms a certain way. It almost felt like I was just being claustrophobic in a trap that was getting closer and closer, like the walls were closing in more and more. And I didn't know who I was yet. I felt like I had such little time to do what I wanted to do, and that my opportunities were getting fewer and fewer, and the walls were just closing in with no way out until I found the one thing. Sometimes, that's all it is. It's the one thing that you can find and do. And for me, it was my voice, my literal voice, because that's what I like to do. I like to talk. I like to speak. I like to encourage. I like to talk about the mistakes I've made in my life and use that as a means to help people. But it doesn't just happen. I've been preparing for this, and we're all preparing for our gifts and our goals over our lifetime. If you're listening to this today, you may very well be preparing for your destiny and for your goals without you even knowing it yet. So I tell you, don't give up on where you're at. Regardless of where you're at, I should say, you have choices that are coming. You have opportunities that are still coming, even though you may think that you missed so many opportunities. You're not done yet. I want to encourage you today that you have so much left to do. There's a reason you're still here. Even if it looks like there are completely no ways out, that there's no way left to go, that all the options are stripped away from you. Your home life is a complete disaster. You're living at home on your own. You have no caregivers. No one is showing up to help you. You're a fighter that has to do things on your own all the time. Or maybe you're threatened with going to a home care facility or a long-term care facility. You feel like there's nothing left for you, but there is. Keep breathing. People will help you. There is going to be a way for you to do what you love to do. So find a way to change your living situation if you're unhappy with it. Find ways to get along with other people and find other people that have the same hopes and dreams and likes and interests as you do. And if you can, collaborate. I know it seems a little hard because we want to do things on our own. And we can, but on the other hand, it's just not always going to be that way. We're just going to have to live in ways that's going to work for us. And that can take a long time to understand. I'm in the middle of it and I still don't always understand it. But in the meantime, just believe and work hard that you're going to get to where you want to be. Think about what you're able to do. Think about what you love to do. Put those together and find your destiny and build goals, even if they're small goals, on top of that. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Handy Schlecht. Take care, God bless, and as always, stay classy. More on the new business starting very soon. I will be sharing more updates in the near future, and I will see you on the next episode of Handy Schlecht. This is Jordan Schrader. Thank you.